I saw this article from The Cut actually on Tumblr, but this article is actually from 2018 and it's titled, "I'm broke and mostly friendless and I've wasted my whole life." This is actually from an advice column on there called Ask Polly. So someone wrote in basically describing how they used to consider themselves creative. I think they went through a divorce. Oh, I feel like my youth is over. I'm drinking too much. And the last kind of paragraph of the ask or of the story is, "I used to think I was the one who had it all figured out. Adventurous life in the city, traveling the world, making memories. Now I feel incredibly hollow and foolish. How can I make a future for myself that I can get excited about out of these wasted years?" And the answer to this was so amazing. I just have to share it with you guys. We have to talk about this. So Polly starts off by talking about how art isn't something that you need, she says, an outside license or a paycheck to pursue. It's a way of life. It's a way of adding up what you feel and where you've been and what you fear and what you can imagine. It's a way of seeing your life through a lens that makes everything valuable. Shame is the opposite of art. When you live inside your shame, everything you see is inadequate and embarrassing. And then she talks about like, oh, you've done all these amazing things, like traveled the world, made friends all over, but because you're living in this shame, all you can focus on is, I'm getting old, my body's aging, my time's running out, I need a partner. Shame turns every emotion into the manifestation of some personality flaw. Shame means that you've accomplished nothing and it's all downhill from here. You need to discard some of this shame you're carrying around all the time. And then she says, when you're curious about your shame instead of afraid of it, you can see the true texture of the day and the richness of the moment with all of its flaws. You can take the feeling and keep it company instead of letting it eat you alive. Instead of running from the truth, you welcome it in. You don't treat what you have as pointless. You work with what you have. See how everything I always talk about comes together? Like, what was I just saying? When I'm feeling ashamed and sick inside, I have to stand outside of that feeling and examine it and treat it like a fascinating artifact. Something useful, something to build from. And this, I loved this. She says, when you carry around a suspicion that there's something sort of embarrassing or pathetic about you, you find ways to project that shame onto completely innocuous things. You find ways to tell yourself that everyone is laughing at you behind your back. You're too old now. You're no longer exciting or important. You don't matter. You never really did. Shame creates imaginary worlds inside your head. No one else can see it, so you keep trying to describe it to them. You find ways to say, and not literally say, but almost like show people, you don't want any part of this mess. I'm mediocre. I'm poor. I'm aging. Do yourself a favor and leave me behind. It's time to come out of hiding. It's time to step into the light and be seen. Shame and wrinkles and failures and fears and all. And then she talks about how this concept that this person has of themselves isn't even from themselves. It's from like a rom-com. Oh my God, I'm 35. I'm getting old. I have no partner, you know, like that is all kind of made up by society. Choose the life that you want. Learn to treat yourself the way a loving older parent would. Tell yourself, this reckoning serves a purpose. Your traveling served a purpose. Your moving served a purpose. You're sitting on a pile of gold that you earned through your own hard work. You just can't see it yet. You can't see it because you're blinded by your shame. It's okay to be in debt and worried. It's okay to feel lonely and lost. It's okay to feel tired of trying. You're just a human. This is how we feel a lot of the time. Your shame is forming your despair into a merciless story about your worth. Don't let it do that. Build something else from your shame instead. And then she talks about how when we're